So what I'm doing here is I'm looking over old notes. These are notes that I've written before the list of 10 elements. Now the 10 elements are supposed to be comprehensive. So because the list of 10 elements is supposed to be comprehensive, I am therefore reviewing the old notes and making sure that every idea that appears in the old notes is included in the 10 elements, because sometimes there is concepts, there's ideas that are mentioned in the old notes that are also that concept might be in the list of 10 elements, but it's not worded the same way. So my reviewing is I need to review not just the words. The words may be relevant, but just the principle of every idea, the concept, every concept that is in the old notes, it's supposed to appear in the same way in the list of 10 elements. So yeah, I have to be aware that, a concept may be worded differently in the old notes when when maybe I didn't have so much background information on that, and might be worded into a new way, into a better way, into a more into it might be worded more concisely in the list of 10 elements. So so the ideas in the old notes would be in the list of 10 elements, but I just have to make sure that everything that I have thought of before, that is in the old notes, that is in all the notes that I've taken before, I need to make sure that all of that is included in the list of 10 elements to make sure that it's comprehensive. So what I'm doing here, what you see me doing, what you see me writing here, is that I'm looking at every concept, every idea in the old notes, and as I read it, I'm paying attention to the concept, and I'm kind of figuring out where this concept would belong in a list of 10 elements. And I'm assigning each idea, each concept to one of the 10 elements, so that and then I write the element in which it would belong, and then after that, that would make it easier when I go back, when I review it again, for me to assign each concept, so I could input it in the list of 10 elements, and that way I will know that the list of 10 elements is more comprehensive, because it will include everything that is included in the old notes. So I've finished looking. I finished reviewing all my notes. I got plenty of notes right here. The only thing that I missed, the only thing that I missed reviewing was, I didn't miss reviewing it. I looked through everything, and see, I even labeled some of this stuff according to the new terms of the final draft of the newest draft. Then I just looked at some other stuff. And the amazing thing is that as I was looking through these old notes, I realized, at first it was difficult because I was trying to make sure that I had everything in the 10 elements draft. But then as I kept going and stuff kept getting filled in, I was just looking at the notes and I was just breezing through them, recognizing each of the concepts on the old notes on the new draft. So they were already there, everything was already there, and so then I just looked through them and identified each concept on the old notes, what it would match up to in the draft of the 10 elements. And so it was just amazing to see that things that were like a very big concern that were very confusing, there were huge conundrums before, were now like I was breezing through them, being able to answer them through the 10 elements draft. That was amazing, amazing experience. So I had a bunch of random notes, things that like ideas that come up from time to time, and you write them down. It's like you write things down. You have a good idea and you write them down. And so, but I just kept track of all these ideas, and it turns out, like I think if you do that a lot, soon enough, you'll get all these ideas, and they'll add up to one principle, and then that one principle, once you discover that one principle, and you apply that one principle, it'll be easier to see how each of these ideas that you came up with, how it flows from that. And so all you need to do is live by this one principle, and all these great ideas that you had will automatically come out of it. So a bunch of gibberish there. But as far as the next step in my project, as I am filling out the 10 elements draft, I need to touch that up, and I need to learn it. It's one of the ideas that I thought of as far as learning it was that just rote learning, just memorizing everything, just going through the motions. I don't know if I mentioned this before, but I had written a creed, and I was repeating it, memorizing the creed word for word, and I even came up with a dance for it, so to find other ways to express it. But I think a good way to learn them is not just to read them and read them and read them, because when you read something, it just gets like, and I felt this because I'm trying to learn the concepts and I'm trying to assimilate them, but you can't do that just by reading, because you read things all over again, and your mind kind of gets desensitized, so that you're just looking at the words, but nothing's coming in anymore. But I did realize that when you teach somebody something, you actually engage with the ideas in a new way. You engage with the ideas more because you're trying to explain the ideas to somebody that doesn't know them. And also if the other person has a different perspective, then they could add to your own perspective of your ideas. That's one way. But the thing that I'm focusing on is that as you're explaining this idea to somebody that has not heard him before, you engage with them in a way that that is appropriate for somebody that hasn't heard him before, So it's kind of like, because you're telling your ideas to a virgin mind, you're kind of re-experiencing it for the first time through them. So you get to engage with the ideas. You get that first time engagement. Well, not so much because you're already familiar with it, but through them, at least vicariously, you engage with the ideas afresh, like if it was your first time, and you get that new engagement again. And because you get that engagement again, you kind of it has that much that impact on you again, that same impact that you got when it was the first time that you heard it. So so I think I'm going to be teaching the 10 elements to other people, to my friends, and anybody else that I find that might be interested in. But the thing is that I'm not done with the project yet, and the reason why I hesitate to teach this to people, the reason why I'm not propagating the YouTube channel, the reason why I'm not propagating the ideas or the lessons in any way, is because I'm not done with the project, and and really I do not consider it my project of any value unless it gives results. And right now, because it's all theorizing, I mean, I've gotten results for myself, but to me it's not complete, and it's not complete results, and it's all just a prototype. And at this point, it's all just a prototype. It's all just, you know, experimental. So that's one of the reasons why I'm not teaching it. Well, I haven't thought about teaching it. But as of now, I think the next step in the project would be to teach it. That's the most practical step in order to learn it. In order to develop it, I have to teach it. So I won't be teaching it for the purpose of propagating it or because I think it has of any value. The only reason why that I'll be teaching it is because that will help me in my development process. One, that will help me in my development process, in the process of developing it, and also in my learning it. So so yeah, expect to see maybe videos of people learning it. Also, you can expect videos about the project, expanding on the ideas of the project, elaborating on the project and what it actually is. I know that up until now I have been very ambiguous about what the project is, and that, you know, that was said in the disclaimer that I wasn't really looking to teach the project in the first place. But because of the way that it's developing and because the way I'm trying to learn it, the best route will be for me to explain it to someone. And so I've got to the point where I will actually start explaining what the project is. See you soon. Explaining what the project is.